here's my rule. When I have scrap left over from the next job, if it won't fit in this storage, then something else has to go. So if I got something better to go in there, I'll pull something out of here to make room for the better stuff, and I'll get rid of the stuff I took out. But I am not going to accumulate any more scrap or leftover parts than I have here. And again, greetings, fellow woodworkers and makers of great things. Welcome to my shop. Today, my shop is in disarray. I'm kind of got it ripped apart, and we're working on a little project here to put in a mini split. So I've got things strewn all over the place. And that makes me uncomfortable because, you know me, things have to be where they belong and organized. But it's a temporary circumstance. The mini split is due here today, and I've been busy running an electrical circuit for it. So let me flip this thing around and I'll show you what my shop looks like. So this is the current state of affairs in the workshop. Everything's thrown around, moved around, wheeled out of position, piled up. Looking to go back to its new home eventually, but I got crap everywhere because I had to clear out this whole corner so I can prep for the mini split. And basically, I spent a good portion yesterday afternoon bringing a dedicated 20 amp circuit up from the basement into that box with Romex, and then I'm transitioning to PVC here, PVC conduit. And we'll take that and we'll bring that over here and eventually poke it through the wall to get it outside. Right about over there someplace where the mini split's going to be. And then of course the mini split unit indoors will be up there. I've got to move all those legs and those the upper row of clamps because that's where the head unit's going to sit. So for today's video, I got a question, a couple of questions on the first shop video and on the second shop tour video. You know, Frank, where do you keep your wood? You know, I take you around the shop and nobody sees where the wood is. So what I thought I'd do is take you guys for a little walk, and we'll take a tour of the rest of the area, the other half of my garage and my shed, and I'll give you a look at that, and we'll talk about where we store our wood. So when we leave the shop here, we go into an area where we can actually park a car. Actually, not quite yet. I've got some stuff that's got to go on Facebook Marketplace and get sold. So there's a spindle sander there, my old planer, my old 1-inch belt sander, and just a bunch of other crap I got around. I want to get rid of, like a couple of small engines. And in this garage, I store most of the stuff I use to work around the house, to work on equipment, jacks and ladders and all that kind of stuff. I've got upper storage, high storage up here, and there is where I store things that don't get used very often, but you want to have them readily available. That's my HVLP sprayer. That's my vacuum pump. That's all the damn sustainers I'm trying to get rid of. I don't like those things. I think I told you that. And just some general organization for storage. I've got a storage rack, storage cabinet above what is my mechanics tool station. So over here is where I keep all my, sockets and wrenches and stuff to work on, engines and equipment. That's my everyday tool bag. So that's the bag I'll grab to go fix something. It's got one of everything I need, and I can just grab that and go take care of a small job without walking back and forth for tools. More storage over here, and these drawers mostly have small engine parts, funnels, jars, stuff like that. Small parts that I need. My first toolbox I ever owned from the late 70s, Craftsman. I remember the day I bought it. At Sears and Roebuck on Frelinghuysen Avenue in Newark, New Jersey. It's an oldie but a goodie, and I keep tools I don't use that often in here, pry bars and bolt cutter, stuff like that. And then up here I've got a bunch of more storage for fluids and parts and things. There's my ultrasonic cleaner. Use that for cleaning parts, cleaning carburetors for small engines. And then when you look over at the next wall, and this is what we're here for, this is my lumber storage area, one of them, okay? So up here, I've got all kinds of, stock. Down here, I've got sheet goods, and that all tucks, nice and closely against the wall like that. I guess we're not more than 10 inches away from the wall there, so we got room to get a car in. Again, when I get rid of that machinery. So that's where I store most of my lumber that I use from day to day. And give you another shot of it. That top row up there has some beautiful southern yellow pine that I bought many years ago. Why won't this thing zoom in for you? Oh well. Some beautiful southern yellow pine that I bought in 2009. Good Lord, time flies. I don't know what project I'm going to use that for, but I was at a lumber supplier. It's actually a flooring company who also sells some lumber. I saw it, it was priced right, and I grabbed it without a project in mind, just to have, like I do often. That piece above it is probably I'm going to say a 12-inch wide weight pine board that I grabbed in case I needed that for something. And then you just got all kind of stuff. You got cherry, you got walnut, you got maple, you got mahogany, you got poplar, you got pine, etc. And that's my primary lumber storage that I keep around near the shop. We're going to take a walk outside. I'll take you out to the shed, and I hope I got enough light out there. But out in the shed, we've got some more lumber, mostly some bigger stuff and stuff that I just haven't brought into the garage yet. I'm gonna have to go get a light to get you in here because there's no light in the shed. Let's see how it adjusts when I get in there. Oh, not too bad, not too bad. We're obviously set up for the winter season, all the seasonal stuff for spring and summer. My tractor, my zero-turn wood chipper, power washer, spreader, they're all parked back here right now for the season because it is it's snowblower season. So we got our snowblower and our rock salt out front right now. A couple of shovels I can grab easy. But over here, it's going to be hard to see, is more lumber storage. So down on the bottom there is a really great score of, you can see some of it sticking out the end here, really great score of genuine mahogany that I was able to get in an auction from a cabinet shop that shut down a bunch of years ago. I've used a lot of it on some of the work I've done, but I've got quite a bit left as well. And then over here, I got some white oak. That stuff that says Carney white oak, that came from my dad's house. It is at least 100 years old. It was a beam that they took out when they put an addition on the front of the house and just left in the crawl space underneath. So my brother dug it out for me and got it. So that is some really good old white oak. And then above that, you've got a couple of cherry, looks like 4x4, some Peruvian mahogany. That grayer looking stuff is Peruvian mahogany. A fellow I know bought a truckload of that was left in at the port. Nobody ever paid the tariffs or claimed it or whatever happened, and he was able to grab it. Just some cherry, some more mahogany. That mahogany piece on top is something left over from a job I did. That's the same stuff that's on the bottom. And then back in the corner here, I keep some kind of specialty stuff. So you can see that flick of walnut crotch standing up on the left there. To the right of that kind of curvy board, that's a solid piece of holly. It's very rare to see holly that large. But, a buddy of mine was somewhere, and he says, he texts me and said, Frank, I just came across 2 pieces of holly. I know you use that for your stringing and inlays. And he wants $200 for both pieces. Do you want it? I said, yes. And I'm never going to use that much holly. I've got some in the shop already. That may, excuse me, that board may outlive me. To the right there looks like a piece of curly hard maple standing up there. Behind that is just a slab of live edge piece of pine, and behind that is a live edge piece of 8-quarter cherry. And behind that, sticking out on the top a little bit, is a little bit of maple that is ambrosia maple. So that thing's got all the character that comes from the ambrosia beetle when they get into the maple trees. And that's pretty much my, the rest of my wood storage, what we saw in the shop and what I have here. Let's go back in the shop and I'll show you how I deal with scraps. I've covered this before in the first shop tour video, but perhaps anyone who hasn't seen it wants to know what's going on. I'll show you how I deal with wood scraps. I hope I can get to it because, like I said, the shop's all out of order. Yeah, I think we can get a look in there. Maybe I'll let me get a light on it because we're pretty dark down there. Okay, I was able to shine a little light on things here so you could see. And this is where I keep my scrap. And this goes underneath this outfeed table, which is pretty deep. So you can see where it goes, back through here, a good, 4 feet. And so I can keep some decent size scrap in here. Along the top, it's actually longer. I can go across the back. And this is everything that's left over from a job that's worth keeping, all right? And it's every species in the world in there. I try to organize it by type, but I always have some misplaced pieces. If it can't fit in this storage bin for scraps, I don't keep it. I learned a long time ago that saving too much scrap wood wastes more time, wastes more space than it does help your situation. There's no value in keeping excess amounts of scraps in your shop. I mean, I've got a scrap bin underneath the table saw, which you can't see now. I'm gonna get around here. Yeah, I've got a scrap bin underneath the table saw, so I've always got, a good assortment of little tiny knick-knack cutoffs that you need for chalking something up or making a block or something like that. So that's always around. But for quality stock, this is what I keep. And here's my rule. When I have scrap left over from the next job, if it won't fit in this storage, then something else has to go. So if I got something better to go in there, I'll pull something out of here to make room for the better stuff, and I'll get rid of the stuff I took out. But I am not going to accumulate any more scrap or leftover parts than I have here. And again, this goes back, pretty far. There's some thin stuff up here, so I keep my thin. But you can see, I can get some pretty decent length up here on the top of this thing. And I hope that came out. I wasn't watching the camera. But this is where I keep my thin stock, drawer size boxes, whatever comes up. And you can see the assortment of stuff that's sitting in the rest of the box. And that's my rule. That's my rule on scrap. I was not always like that. I was like every woodworker I know when I was early into this craft. I ain't throwing nothing out. I could use that. I can use that. I could save that. Well, no, you can't. No, you can't. I'm never going to use all this stuff. But it's just stuff you want to have because sometimes you need a part and you want to grab for it. So, guys, that's my wood storage situation. We got our scraps there. We got our readily available supply out here, our sheet goods down here, and that's what I keep around the shop, and of course some specialty woods out in the shed. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this short video. I'm going to get back to work now on my mini split installation, and of course I'm filming it, so we'll have a video on that when it goes in. I'm dying to see how it works, and let me just share with you. The reason I'm doing. I'll tell you about the mini split in the next video. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry. I get to yapping. But hey, thanks for watching. If you're already subscribed, I so much appreciate you and thank you for doing that. If you're not subscribed and you enjoy these videos, please give it a subscribe. It helps me get more views, helps me in the long run, and I would sure appreciate that. And if you stayed till the end, thank you. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. That's what it's there for, right? Looking forward to hear from you guys in the comments. I always enjoy those, and I do try to answer as many as I can. Until next time, get back to the shop, guys.